Hello world, today I will be giving a part 2 to my Japanese animation video. If you haven't seen that one, I'll link it somewhere. I'll probably put a card on the screen because, man, basically I just talk about some of the animated movies that I have seen. So, today I will be coming at you guys with another 5 movies, this time finishing up Satoshi Kon's filmography and also including a couple of my favorite anime series. So, let's get into it. Today we will be talking about these 5 things. 1. Millennium Actress. 2. Tokyo Godfathers. 3. Kakegurui. 4. Paranoia Agent. 5. Akira. So let's begin. Millennium Actress is another wondrous story brought to us by none other than the Satoshi Kon. A story about a documentary filmmaker who's trying to chronicle the life of a legendary actress as she gracefully ages away and her studio is destroyed. And while in her home, she tells them stories of her life, and Satoshi Kon just explores her memories in the most interesting and tricky way. And I love tricky Satoshi Kon movies. The movie honestly gave me so many different feelings. I mean, of course, we're traveling with this woman throughout the journey of her life, and as she's made all these different movies, we can switch in between different genres. I mean, there's romantic parts, there's action-packed parts, there's funny parts, and there's even a bit of mystery, really. I mean, I just got to say, I really love the way this movie made me feel because it absolutely correlated with the themes. I mean, most of the time when I watch this, like throughout the middle of a Satoshi Kon movie, I can see like a very clear thematic picture where it's like, okay, I know what this movie's about. But that didn't happen here. And I was just asking myself, like, what's the point of this story? Until in the end, Satoshi Kon delivered the biggest aha moment for me ever. Because the movie wants you to ask yourself these questions, like, what is the meaning of this journey? What is the meaning of a life? And not to mention, this movie is also kind of an ode to Japanese cinema, I've heard, so I'd recommend checking it out if you're a fan of that. I mean, I didn't really get any of the references at all until I read something about it later, so, you know, it's still very enjoyable no matter what. So yeah, I can recommend this for sure. It's a pretty fun joyride that left me pretty much speechless at the end. Tokyo Godfathers was really fun for the most part. I mean, Satoshi Kon once again delivered loads of aha moments with tricky little story details, and it made for a really fun experience. But I have to say, he used a lot less surrealism and a lot less tricky things, and that disappointed me a little bit because tricky Satoshi Kon is the Satoshi Kon that I love, but Satoshi Kon is still Satoshi Kon. So, the story follows a group of homeless people who find a baby somewhere outside, and they take the baby in and become a sort of makeshift family. And it's actually very similar to the story of like baby Jesus, and the story actually points out its similarities to the Christian narrative, and it does so purposely. Overall, this movie has a lot of heartwarming moments that just give lessons on what it means to be a family. But while it followed multiple characters, I found the story to be a bit clunky at times, but it's still a fun watch, and it's not really that long either, I don't think.
The lights off!
So yeah, I'd say check it out, because Satoshi Kon is still Satoshi Kon, and if you're not a fan of the trickery he uses in his other movies, this one might be easier for you to digest. Next. Kakegurui is a Netflix original anime, and oh my gosh, do I have so much to say about this show. I mean, I'm not sure how many people like this because I haven't seen that many people talk about it. But anyway, this story follows Yumiko Jabami, a new student arriving at an elite high school academy with loads of wealthy students. And a large part of the culture at the high school is gambling. It determines who is at the top and the bottom of the social ladder. And I just have to say, guys, this is the absolute peak of storytelling for me. The Kakagurui utilizes absolutely absurd characters and puts them in absurd situations to create a sort of commentary, really, on what it's like to be in a society that values money over human life. It also acknowledges some absurdity of just little anime elements that are commonly used, and it pushes them to the max. like the main character being a god. I mean, there's this whole narrative thing in the show in season 1 where it gives you this sort of expectation for XYZ to happen, but then when the times come for XYZ to presumably happen, the main character is like, no, I'm a god and I can do whatever I want. And you can tell it's done purposely because they kind of acknowledge it in one moment. Not to mention the opening credits is this sort of like surrealism fever dream, and I just love that. It's gorgeous. The colors pop and the editing in the show is really exciting, being very noticeable in some of the very tense moments. And the story can become really subversive at times. It also points fun at the fact that a lot of mystery stories or gambling game anime shows like to leave hints or clues for you to try to decipher your story before the end of it happens. And this show just takes it to the max by leaving no clues at all. I mean, the way that these games are won is not really always predictable because the show just pulls random explanations out of anywhere it can find them, and it just adds to the whole absurd humor. And it also shifts the focus of the story to the characters instead of the situations. And of course, since it is about gambling, there's a new game every like 2 episodes or something, and they get really exciting to watch. And the stakes progressively get higher as every time the money doubles, and eventually they get to a point where money is not enough and they start gambling with their lives. But gambling is bad. But yeah, I mean, really though, Kakegurui is just such a fun show. I just had to put it on here. Next. Paranoia Agent is an anime series directed by Satoshi Kon, and I absolutely had to jump on watching this series. The story follows a group of people who mysteriously get attacked in their town by a rollerblader with a baseball bat. And once again, Satoshi Kon tackles what it means to struggle with identity and other themes as well, like rumors and how those can affect a person. There are some scary moments in the show, and some incredibly funny ones, and some really cute ones. I mean, the episodic nature just really gives Satoshi Kon more legroom to explore whatever themes that he wants. So if you haven't seen this yet, but you are a fan of Satoshi Kon's filmography, I'd recommend it because you probably will like it. And if you just like anime in general, I'd recommend this to you because it's a pretty neat series that tells its story in a little bit of an unconventional way. And I'm honestly sad to say that I don't think I can find any other works done by Satoshi Kon, as he has passed away. So if you do know any other projects that Satoshi Kon may have had a significant hand in working in, or stuff that I may like that's like Satoshi Kon, please let me know in the comments. Rest in peace, Satoshi Kon. Akira is one of the first Japanese animated films to be successful in America, assuming my sources are correct. Being released in 1988, this movie was a colossal collaboration between 7 animation studios, which meant that this movie had a budget. The story follows 2 friends, Kaneda and Tetsuo, who are in a high school biker gang. And in their post-apocalyptic Neo-Tokyo, they're just out living their lives until trouble strikes, as Tetsuo is captured by a group of scientists who want to do experiments on him. This movie gives me Dragon Ball Z and Stranger Things and Chronicle vibes. And honestly, I'd really recommend watching it if you're a fan of animation, because you can really tell that the way that they animate things in this movie is just really crisp and really beautiful. I did have a bit of a problem getting into this movie just because it follows multiple characters in multiple different places, and I wasn't really a huge fan of all the characters, to be honest. But it never felt alienating or confusing in any way. And anime fans in general may have this movie to thank for a few things, because once again, assuming my sources are correct, the success of this movie really helped prove that American audiences had an appetite for Japanese animation, and so, thanks Akira. Overall, I can recommend this show if you're looking for something fun and cool to check out, because I tell you, the tension-filled moments of this movie has Dragon Ball Z vibes, and it's incredible. So yeah, go watch Akira. Anyway, that's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed. And please let me know in the comments down below, what are you guys' favorite anime movies? So, I actually haven't seen a whole lot, to be honest, because I'd say that my weeb days are behind me, but I'm really open to checking out whatever. I also have a letterbox if you're interested in seeing whatever else I'm watching, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.